You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Dinny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
Hey, what is going on? Welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio, and I am your host, Dini. I do have to say that this particular episode is pre-recorded, and I can't wait to deliver it to your inboxes, and for you guys who subscribe to the show, you'll be the first to know. Before I bring my guest on, I do want to say, you can have a peaceful response. Let your first response to any situation be a peaceful one. And from that point, you can fashion a positive and effective course of action. When confronted with anger, hostility, incompetence, frustration, hatred, or confusion, respond with peace. Put yourself in a position to move things powerfully, positively forward. Make peace your starting point, for it is a powerful place from which true progression can be made. Though, trouble can surround you, and it will close in upon you and grow more challenging with each moment, it does not have to define you. Within you, there is always a place for peace to live, and when that peace is there, it radiates powerfully outward. A peaceful response does not mean that you allow others to harm you or even take advantage of you. What it means is that you remain committed to being and doing what is right, rather than being overcome by whatever has gone wrong. A peaceful response is not a weak, naive response, but rather a strong, confident, powerful, and effective one. Let a part of you remain at peace no matter what, and the rest of you, as well as those around you and the situations in which you are involved, will benefit greatly. Take that from me, Coach Dini. That is my word. Are you ready?
You're live in the mix. Let's get this started.
All right. Again, welcome to the show. You're listening to VRL. That's Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio. And I am your host, Dini. I would like to mention again that this particular episode is pre-recorded, and I can't wait to deliver it to your inboxes for you guys who subscribe to the show. So welcome to the show. Again, this is Vigilantes Radio Live, and our interviews are designed to go beyond the music, beyond books, news, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, and sometimes even past that thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these awesome human beings. The ones who are out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Well, what is up, family? Today, we welcome a guest whose story is a living testament to courage, perseverance, and purpose. Matthew Kenslow, an author and educator who grew up with Autism Spectrum Disorder, has touched lives worldwide with his message of acceptance and resilience. Featured on major platforms like ABC 7 and Newsweek, and is followed by millions, Matthew embodies what it means to turn struggle to strength. Through his writing and teaching, he's lighting the way for others to embrace their unique gifts. So please join me in saying welcome, friend, to Matthew Kenslow. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hi, Deanie. Thanks. It's going to be a pleasure.
Yes, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing amazing.
Same here. So, just to start this out, man, we know that you've written a book and you are out promoting it. So what's been on your heart and mind lately, Matthew?
What's categorically been on my heart and mind is how could I use this life, like what could I do with this life to help other people and to bring encouragement to other people.
Indeed. Matthew, what's a fun fact about you that people might not know?
In elementary school, not only did I pick up piano playing, but I picked up juggling, and I'm able to juggle a whole bunch of different objects, and while I juggle, I recite like the presidents of the United States or a fact about a president due to when someone gives me a number.
Wow. Can you still juggle?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's cool. And if you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Oh, wow. It's hard to choose. I mean, historically, I'd say Abraham Lincoln, perhaps because he's been a favorite president of mine for like half my life.
Yeah. You know, those early presidents, for some reason, Abe Lincoln seemed like the most human, or the most closest to, you know, what we go through as common people. I don't know, it's just me, though.
Yeah.
All right, so growing up with autism, what were some of the most surprising lessons you've learned about yourself?
Well, at first, I was trying to learn why it seemed like a lot of people seemed better than me academically. I was, you know, a lot of people loved reading. I despised reading. And at the same time, there were some classmates that just picked on me for some of the things that I deal with. Like sometimes I'm slow. I don't understand everything. It was easy for people to joke in my presence, so I guess I was learning more about why, and then later in life I was learning, well, how could I be better, and how could I advocate and stand up for myself in those times and for others.
Yeah. What did you learn about the world around you?
Well, autism has given me a different lens with which to view the world, and I learned that that, you know, the world's out there with a lot of opportunity, and that everyone has a purpose, and it's out there. But sometimes it seems like people may discriminate against people just because of a disability, for instance.
Yeah. How has your journey shaped your perspective on teaching?
Well, I suppose when I was growing up, there's a lot of teachers that influenced me, very much so, and I wanted to reciprocate that passion that they had of teaching for my students. And well, as a substitute teacher when I was a student teacher, and so I just want to be that type of teacher that you know, students could count on, and students could ask questions if they don't understand.
Absolutely. In your book, Unstoppable, it shares deeply personal experiences. What compelled you to write it, and what do you hope readers take away from it?
Toward the end of my student teaching 2 years ago, I was reflecting on this journey of student teaching, the rigor of the program, and the stress that it caused not just me, but other teaching candidates who were also in the credential program. But for me, there's additional challenges to that through autism, and including communications and everything. But I persevered, and by the end of my student teaching, I knew that I was for sure going to get the credential. And I just thought that my story could be encouraging to aspiring teachers, especially those who have autism, and then overall people who aspire to be anybody, autism or not. And I'm hoping that people would see my life and know that if I could do these things, then so can anybody if they put their mind to it.
Absolutely, man, and that makes you very unique. You spoke about stress, and so balancing writing, teaching, and advocating, I could imagine, is no easy task. How do you maintain focus and avoid distractions in today's fast-paced world?
One of the number one tips I've learned is get a planner and write everything down, everything in your schedule. And then I'd also encourage a to-do list, because when I make a to-do list, afterward I literally have like 20 or 30 pounds of stress off my shoulder.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, Matthew, my to-do list has a to-do list. I'm always jotting ideas and things to do, and it just keeps getting longer and longer and longer. I think just one day I just should sit down and knock out one page at least.
Yeah. And then set the priorities from there. Like once I get everything written down, I say, okay, which ones are my priorities?
Ah, that's a good one, yeah. So discrimination is spoke about in Unstoppable, and that is a recurring theme in your story. How have these experiences shaped your character and approach to overcoming challenges?
Well, in all candor, whenever these things happen, whether I was in elementary school, middle school, high school, or even in my adult years, honestly, it just gives me hurt inside, as I'm sure it would hurt anybody when we're discriminated against something that we never asked for. Like, I never asked for autism, and other people never asked for a disability, whether it's developmental or physical. And I therefore contend it's unfair if people are discriminated for that. And it's easy to really have it stop you, but I chose not to let it stop me. And one of the things that I do is that although I don't condone what was said or done to me, I forgive. And I think that forgiveness is kind of the key to helping me move on in life. Also, I process it, when I'm alone in my room, I process it, I think about what happens, and then I try to put it in words. And that's when I started, writing in my book. I started posting on social media, on YouTube, explaining things that happen and getting it out.
Yeah. As a teacher, how do you foster acceptance and understanding in your students regarding disabilities?
There have been times I get to, talk about autism just here and there. There have been at least one time in the past couple of years that I could think of when, a student came up to me and told me that these students said something about him. And so I got to, quiet the class down and just address it without identifying the student and just giving my what I think about it in a way that's not harsh, but truthful. And that's part of my in the classroom. And then in my community, I do volunteer assemblies, and I've spoken to over 10,000 students in Orange County, California, 500,000 more to go. So I have a big goal, but I go to these schools and I talk about my experience. I keep the students attentive through my juggling analogies, science, and sleight of hand. And I teach them and encourage them on how to include others, disability or not.
Yeah. You said everyone has a purpose. I believe that too. What's your advice to someone struggling to find theirs?
One of my number one advice is don't allow any label, whether it's autism or anything, to have the right to stop you or slow you down. I mean, don't allow it to slow you down. I believe that anyone could do whatever they set to their heart and mind to do, as long as it's practical. And I also encourage people to be number one. And in my definition, that means you know what you want to do in life, you know what's going to bring you joy, yet even in the face of adversity, such as an illness or a disability, you choose to never give up on what you want to do and who you want to be. I believe that behind the disability, we have a heart and a mind. And I kind of view a disability as a different ability to live life, but that's just me personally.
Yeah. How did you discover your own purpose?
Well, When I was a child and teenager, I had a whole bunch of career options. And in 11th grade, my teaching passion solidified. Around that same time, I became an advocate, or I started to become an advocate for autism. And through that, I found purpose, passion, that this is something I could do, and not just for me, but for other people.
Yeah, and this purpose has stuck with you up until now, recently, right?
Yeah.
What has been your proudest moment as a substitute teacher, and how does it feel? How does it fuel your passion for education?
That's a very good question. There's been times when I literally not just seen the wheels turning, but I heard light bulbs go off whenever I, like, in my student teaching, or if I'm a substitute and I get to teach a little here. And there's been times, there's one time I was subbing a 3rd grade class, and it was during math time, and all the students had like independent math work to do, and one was at the board and I was helping him. I forget if like maybe subtraction or fractions or something, but I was helping him, and afterward, on his own volition, he said, "Thank you for helping me," very sincerely. And then real quick, one of my favorite lessons as a student teacher back in October 2022 involved functions, but not to get into math, because I was a math student teacher. In the lesson, I got to use my knowledge of presidential birthdays, and I also had all the students' birthdays memorized, so I used that in the lesson. And after the lesson, one of the students looked at me and said, "That was a very impressive lesson," so that really made my day.
Absolutely. How do you handle setbacks when pursuing big goals, like obtaining your teaching credentials?
Well, some of the setbacks I faced was like time and patience. There was time in my undergrad when I had to take a couple of classes off. There was one semester I had a burnout. I had to drop the entire semester, and I had to be patient, as going through a JC would be longer than I expected. And then as I got a little bit older, I went to a university. I kind of drilled down even more, but I kind of just let myself breathe a little bit and have the patience, but sometimes it was hard.
Yeah. You mentioned burnout. How do you deal with burnout?
Well, when that happened, I just took a month and a half to just clear my mind of a lot of academic stress. So I got pictures organized. Like, my family took tens of thousands of pictures back in the 90s and early 2000s when I was growing up. So I was just organizing that, and then I went to writing, and writing has been very cathartic to me.
So what misconceptions about autism do you often encounter, and how do you work to change those misconceptions?
Well, I work to change through just promoting awareness. So I have a sub-series on YouTube about dispelling autism myths, and a couple of them include these. Some people say that people with autism can't feel emotions, but I, for one, can say that I could empathize, which means I could feel what people might be going through, but it's hard for me to find the right words or to have the right countenance or facial expression. Some people say that we hate socializing, but I wouldn't say that I'm antisocial. It's just I desire to socialize. I was just very nervous, and I was rarely asked by my peers if I could tag along with them. And some people say that we don't have a sense of humor, but I got the most use of sense of humor certificate at the end of 5th grade. And some people say that we lack intelligence, but I got a few degrees, a couple of math degrees, a math credential, or science degrees and a math credential, and all that. And those are just some of the myths that people have. And one more real quick is some people say that we should stop stimming. Stimming is like repetitive behavior, and it helps us self-regulate and just concentrate.
Does faith and philosophy play a role in your journey?
It has. I have been raised with a lot of faith, and with my upbringing in the church. This is why I believe that everybody, no matter what, has some purpose and has the good works to do for the benefit of others, for the glory of God, according to my faith. And my faith gives me the reassurance that there is purpose and meaning in my life and in other people's lives. So that's kind of why I devote my life to service for others to the best of my ability. And this hope also helps me see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Amen, Matthew. And I'm not saying that just to say that because you said something, religious, but I'm saying that because I have a walk with Christ as well, and I understand that, when you find your purpose, when it's bigger than you, and that passion is driving you to move the world around you forward, man. I'm truly for that, man, and I applaud you. For what you do in your community. So going along, man, how has social media impacted your advocacy, and what's the most memorable interaction you've had with your followers?
Well, when I started to post on social media, and I've been on social media for over 7 years publicly, and with consistent posting, I post to brighten people's day, and then I also post to spread awareness of autism and disabilities and everything. And so I've been receiving comments here and there throughout the past several years of people that just say that I am helping them understand their son more. There's a person in Scotland that says that my videos and shorts on autism has helped her understand her son a bit more. There's another person in Ireland that said a similar thing, that she feels a bit closer or have a closer relationship with her child now. And there's a person in Albany, New York, who said that, my book and kind words and my kindness have helped his friend who was afraid of being autistic, but is now able to express herself better. And another said that hearing me speak gives hope for the future of his 6-year-old son who also has autism. So those are some of the positive comments that brings me joy and reminds me that I'm not just posting, I'm posting and people are being encouraged.
Nice. What advice would you give to parents of children with autism about navigating the education system?
Yes, I would say advocate for their child, especially early on in life. Also teaching the child to eventually be able to advocate for themselves. Continue to show love and care to the child and giving them opportunities, including maybe extracurricular opportunities. Teaching life skills to them. For instance, my mother taught me some cooking tips and driving tips and balancing a checkbook and such. So just continue to show love and care.
Indeed. What's the most unexpected blessing that's come from sharing your story so openly?
Well, besides the comments, the positive comments that I've received, it's just hearing the testimonials from people. After an assembly, I've been told by administrators or school personnel that what I've said was a very important message, that I, quote, changed lives that day, unquote. And parents have reached out to me saying that what I did and said in the assembly was the first thing that their child said when they were picked up from school that day. And I sometimes teachers hold discussions after my assembly, and I've been told that there's been a lot of meaningful discussions.
Indeed. What legacy do you hope to leave behind through your writing, teaching, and advocacy?
Just a person who really and truly cared about a lot of people and finding purpose. That if you have a disability, don't let that stop you. If I could do the things that I've accomplished, then so can you and anybody. And for the people that don't have a disability to become aware and accept us and to help us feel included in life.
Where can our listeners pick up a copy of the book and find you on social media?
My books are on Amazon, also Barnes & Noble, and I believe they could be ordered on at any library or bookstore. My books are Juggling the Issues, and my second one is Unstoppable. And I'm sure if you put Unstoppable Kenslow and search, it should come up on top. And then on social media, most of my social media is my first and last name, Matthew Kenslow, and that's on Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and TikTok.
All right. Well, thank you, Matthew, for sharing your incredible journey with us today. And listeners, just in case you did not get those links, I will have them in the description of this episode and in the show notes. So all you guys have to do is just click the links. Thank you, Matthew, from your insights on teaching and acceptance to your relentless pursuit of purpose. Your story truly inspires us to embrace our own unique paths. Listeners, be sure to check out Matthew's book, Unstoppable. Follow him on social media and support his incredible mission. Don't forget to subscribe to Vigilantes Radio Live. Leave us a rating. Share this episode. Together, let's spread positivity and purpose. Thank you so much, Matthew. We hope you have a wonderful night.
Thank you, and you too.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio Live. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab it from either Spreaker.com/Only One Media Group, Spotify, Castbox, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, the app Podcast Addict, or over at our website, which again is onlyonemediagroup.com. And that goes for every single show that we've ever aired. If you like to request some music or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. That is V as in Victor. And here's my disclaimer. We are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay but facts alone. And actually, scratch all of that, because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Just kidding. On behalf of myself, Denny, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, at all social media sites, as well as Spreaker, YouTube. We always follow back. Okay, well, just remember to put yourself into everything that you do and never stop investing in yourself. Peace, love, grilled cheese, and talk with you later.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.